will come as no surprise to veterans on our panel that one of the very first questions we get from a viewer is what I would call one of our regular participants, and this is a question we get almost every week. We might as well start right out with it. A viewer from Morris wants to know, will recreational cannabis be legalized this session? Senator Murphy, let's start with you.
It's a great question, and I believe the answer is yes. I think Minnesotans have expressed in many ways, whether it is an end to prohibition or their pursuit of a more just Minnesota, or their interest in regulating something to make it safer, they have suggested their support. And there's been a great deal of work that I haven't really been a part of, but particularly led in the Minnesota House, where there have been intentional debates, conversations, town hall meetings with Minnesotans across the state, preparing and engaging on this topic. And at least in my experience across the state in the last number of years, this is an issue that comes up over and over and over again. And
if you come back to us on our program later this year, we'll probably get the question again. So it's not just your visit.
I think it will. I do. Yes. I think it will, and I think it's time.
Senator Housley, your thoughts?
Funny story, and I don't think I've ever shared this story before. In 1982, graduated from South St. Paul High School, and my boyfriend at the time, who's now my husband, Phil, we had to write a research paper, and he was off playing hockey in some other country. And when he came back, the teacher said he had to get his paper done in 3 days. So he asked me to help him write his paper, and I said, sure, what do you want to write the paper on? And he said, why we should legalize marijuana in the state of Minnesota. And this was in 1982, to which I was totally opposed to it, but I helped him write his paper. He ended up getting an A on his paper, and I only got a B on my paper. But now here we are 40 years later, and we're still talking about it. I have always been opposed to it. Still, we have the argument within my own family because of different concerns. But I just want to make sure that, I mean, it's not up to us whether it gets passed or not, because they're in complete control. I just hope that the bill does get properly vetted, because there are concerns. I just came from my Washington County Commissioners meeting, and we had the Washington County Sheriff there, and he had some concerns about, testing those under the influence, like where are the parameters to that. So I just want to make sure that the bill is properly vetted, and it's something that will keep Minnesotans safe when it does come out of committee.
Representative Long, your thoughts?
Well, to the gentleman from Morris, yes, we will legalize cannabis this year for adult use. And we did pass the bill in the House last session. It was a bipartisan vote, and we are going to pass it again. And we're going to do so thoughtfully, and we're going to do so carefully. As Senator Murphy mentioned, my predecessor in the majority leader role, Representative Winkler, spent weeks of his life traveling the state, doing listening sessions. And Minnesotans want this. It's not universal, but if you look at public support over time, it has drastically moved towards getting rid of prohibition, and that's because it hasn't worked. And we know it hasn't worked for many reasons. One is that we have an illegal market that has criminalized disproportionately people of color. In my city of Minneapolis, the usage rates are basically identical between white people and black people, but the arrest rates are 7 times for black people what they are for white people. And so it's been legal essentially if you're white in Minnesota to use cannabis for a long time. But if you're a person of color, it has not been, and that has caught up people in our system that has had really significant consequences on their ability to find jobs, their ability to get housing, their ability to lead lives. And so it's a time that we do this, and we have to do it thoughtfully. We have to make sure that we're protecting youth. We have a 21-year age requirement, similar to how we have for alcohol. We have requirements on where to sell. We have requirements on licensing. We have a very thoughtfully put together bill. It's over 200 pages, but it can be improved, and I think it will be improved, and I think it will be improved in a bipartisan way with input from all sides as we're moving forward.
Representative Nash, your thoughts?
Thank you, Barry. Yes, the bill will be passed, and as Senator Housley said, it will be done. I'm not going to be voting for it, and I have some concerns, I think, that are legitimate concerns. I think that the iteration of the bill that we saw last time had some things that I did not necessarily think were serious pieces of legislation. It took away some of the local control that cities that might wish to opt out of having a dispensary located in their city confines were disallowed from doing that. I think that there was another thing that I think Representative Winkler may have consulted the Department of Caprice and Whimsy when he put into the bill that it had to be delivered by an electronic or electric vehicle. I think that was a tip of the hat to Tesla drivers or folks like that. But my biggest concern is one that has been echoed to me by a number of my constituents, both who are in favor and that are opposed. And it's namely, how do you test roadside to find out someone's level of impairment? And I think this is a really important thing that I would hope that all members, all 201 members of the legislature would say is something that really has to be thoughtfully crafted, because we are creating policy that's going to last for a fairly long time. And if we purposely miss something that we shouldn't have, I think that's shame on us. I certainly understand that the DFL is going to pass this, but I hope that they've listened to some of the pushback that some of us have offered. And I think that the roadside testing and giving cities and municipalities and counties the ability to exercise local control is certainly a very important aspect of whatever the final bill is going to be. I hope those things are in it, and I hope that the testing has been resolved.